you haven't watched the last video, one of my subscribers donated a jet ski for my jet boat, Joe from Cliffside Power Machines. If you're in the Caledonia, Wisconsin area, check him out if you need your jet skis serviced or if you need parts. Really nice guy, hooked me up with all the drivetrain as well. This is a 1200cc, 135 horsepower power plant for my budget jet boat. Yes, I said budget, even though jet boats are not budget. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, me trying to be cheap has ended up being expensive. So look, don't be cheap, buy once, cry once. So now I gotta finish welding my jet intake to the boat. If you're more interested on how I built this, you can check out part 3. This intake's job is to channel water and generate thrust, and you'll see this intake is mounted kind of weird. It's halfway through the hole when it normally should be flush, and the reason why I did it like this is so that I have more room for the engine, because this is a pretty small boat. It's only 10 feet long, so it is considered a mini jet boat. By the way, this little mini sandblaster comes in really clutch. It's one of my favorite ways to prep aluminum for welding, and even steel. So I got the intake welded from the bottom and the top. It should be leak proof, and here I'm test fitting the engine with a longer drive shaft. But I don't like the way it sits. As you can see, the drive shaft is pitched upwards in that tunnel, which is not going to seal. So I gotta probably redo that. But I'm going to try a shorter drive shaft first, see if the shorter drive shaft fixes it. I am working on this jet boat in the middle of the summer heat in July, while everyone is out on the lake. And that's why I want to take a quick swim break and tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Surfshark.
Not only is Surfshark a top specialist in internet privacy, they also are a VPN provider, which means virtual private network. They have over 3,000 global servers. So not only can they keep your information safe, you can also watch your favorite movies and TV shows that might be blocked in your country. So let's say I want to watch YouTube, but I'm in North Korea. Can't do that without a VPN. Many hackers have exposed how easy it is to steal your personal information. All they have to do is just create a fake public Wi-Fi network. You connect to it and you automatically give them the keys to all your passwords and search history. So with Surfshark, they make it super easy to secure your online privacy. Even a kid could do it. And with one subscription, you get unlimited devices. If you're not happy, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Secure your online privacy! And use the coupon Vasily to get an extra $4 at surfshark.deals/Vasily.
So I did try to re-engineer the engine mounts so that the engine sits lower, but that was a waste of time. So here I'm cutting back the tunnel for the shorter drive shaft. It moves the engine forward about 4 inches. Alright, so I gotta cut this off because I'm running out of space to clamp on here. So I'm gonna run a smaller tube and hopefully that it works. Okay, while I'm brainstorming on what and how I want to mount the engine, I'm going to go ahead and redo the way the seats mount. Basically, these add no structure in the boat, so I'm going to add some more structural rigidity to the hull and remount the seats. And yeah, as you can see, they're all pretty moldy, but I'm hoping I could just bleach them. take this piece and shove it right there. Okay, so I welded another bar, so this is not going anywhere. So now I'm going to clean the boat out and then mount the seats and then mount the engine. Alright, I got both the seats mounted, and I tell you what, I like this a lot better than the other mounting method. So I'm putting on my jet pump and the jet housing, and that little flange you see there, that billet one, yeah, that's been holding back this entire boat for over 6 months. But huge thanks to my guy Peter Zila at zilawelds.com. He took time out of his day and designed this flange for me and CNC machined it. And without that flange, I could not locate the engine. So I had to wait for that flange. And yes, I could have made my own, but I didn't want to. We got the front engine mounts kind of figured out. Now I'm going to do the rear ones. The engine is higher up in the rear, so the engine mounts are going to have to be different. Alright guys, so I got new engine mounts cut. We're going to go ahead and do some measuring and then weld those in place. So this is my drive shaft sealing coupler. I welded a bead around the edge. Shove that like that. So unfortunately we have some pretty big gaps. Alright guys, I'm praying I got the drive shaft good enough, because there's no way I'm getting it perfectly aligned in this boat, in this homemade jet boat. But splines are forgiving. I gotta say, it's quite a luxury to have two welders at one time. This one is set up for MIG, and this one is set up for TIG, but this one can do MIG and TIG, and aluminum MIG as well too. HTP did also sponsor all the welding wire and the fuel cell for this build, so definitely check them out. They make some amazing welders. I've been using them for 5 years, no problems. Hi guys, so I cut out this firewall or bulkhead, whatever. I'm about to Raptor line this boat, so I want to do all the welding that I can and then Raptor line it. So this is my bulkhead slash firewall. But you know, my goal is just to make it look nice. And so I've cut slits in my boat. I'm going to wedge this piece in. It ain't going to be perfect. the gap down here for the water to evacuate the front. So I'm gonna push this forward. Yeah, just basically give me enough room to where I can service the flywheel. So yeah, I'll just put my foot right there. Okay, we got in order. So guys, I'm actually happy with how it turned out. It's almost perfect. Everything lined up here flush to this square tubing. This is to seal off the engine compartment, make it look pretty, and maybe I'll add 2 more seats up here. I ain't gonna lie guys, the gaps are kind of huge. So I'm gonna try to get some ratchet straps and squeeze the boat together. But here on top, the gaps, everything turned out phenomenal. I should be able to rest this piece on top and latch it, and then you could sit on here, walk on here, put your dog on here, put your mom on here. Alright guys, so I've been sanding the boat for a couple hours now, getting it ready to Raptor line. I'm gonna do just the front part first, see how it looks. But before I start spraying, I'm gonna test for leaks. So basically I'm gonna spray the seams like that and use soapy water and see if there's any bubbles. Guys, this Raptor liner blew my mind. I mean, it covered every single little imperfection. Like everything that normally spray paint would show, this hid. So yeah, I think this is better than a traditional gel coat, because not only will it sound deaden, it'll also provide grip so you could walk up here. Now that's exactly the reason why I didn't coat the bottom. That grip is gonna cause too much drag, so we don't want to coat the bottom with the Raptor liner. Alright, so I made this coupler for the steering wheel. I just realized the steering isn't going to be removable. It's fine. The steering cable is the wrong size anyways. Okay, so that goes on. Alright guys, we got steering, but the cable doesn't have enough travel. Alright guys, so this is my good motor, and I gotta rebuild it. So I'm here picking off every little piece of gasket. It's gonna take a while, and then we'll put fresh pistons in this thing, and hopefully it's ready to roll. Alright guys, so Swag Off-Road came in clutch. They sent me their Hulk tubing roller. I need some rolled tubing on this boat to make it look pretty. They came in just in time, clutch. You know, this thing has very nice textured powder coating, have CNC machine plates. Really nice stuff. Swag Off-Road is offering you guys 10% off using the code Vasily. And I've got to say, man, their stuff makes life so much easier, especially if you're a fabricator. I've got their upgrades on my tubing notcher, my tubing bender, and my press brake. And now this tubing roller is going to step up my fabrication game. So guys, stay tuned, see what I come up with this thing. Wow, I am really surprised on how easy that was. Nailed it. Look at that, guys. Now I do wish I added a little bit more curvature here, but it's fine. I am going to trim it back so that it lands about right here. Okay guys, I don't know. The boat is crooked, but I think I got this straight. What I'm building here is a little swim deck to make getting in and out of the boat easier. And I think it's just going to make it look a lot better, a lot more aesthetic. And eventually, I want to do a canopy over this boat and like a windshield. So, you know, I just want to make this thing nice and enjoyable. You know, maybe something you could take a girl on a date. You know, I mean, who knows? Alright guys, so I'm here trimming up the deck, getting it ready to weld, and as you can see we've got some gappage right there. So what I'm gonna do is drill a hole here and see if I can pull this in with the ratchet strap, because the gaps on the firewall really bit my butt. So I gotta make sure there's zero gaps and yeah, trim this thing a little bit better, and yeah. Okay, this ratchet strap should explode any minute. Alright guys, I'm really happy with how the deck turned out, although it did kind of warp like that, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that's an engineering design. But anyways, yeah, we'll add a couple more rails here and there, but I'm kind of just jumping around this boat. So it did rain overnight, and there was quite a bit of water pulled up in there, so I know it's watertight, but what I'm going to do is finish the steering, start routing the cooling. I gotta mount this gas tank, so it's gonna go right there. Like usually they would mount them in the front of the boat, but I don't have enough time. We're gonna get the gas tank, the oil tank, the exhaust plumbing, the cooling, oil, plumbing, gas plumbing. There's just so much stuff to do. Yeah. So this is the old jet ski oil tank, and This is my aluminum tank. Subscriber actually donated this to me, so I put these nutserts here, and this thing is gonna mount up right there. Alright, I got my fuel cell here, and according to my calculations, it's around 12-13 gallons. And huge thanks to HTP for basically sponsoring this. And then I made a provision here, so we have a fuel sender unit so we could tell when our fuel is empty. And it so happened to work out perfectly. It goes right to the bottom. It's perfect. So I gotta mount this gas tank in. I'm just gonna mount it with some rubber straps. Alright, so I made this standoff right here for the gas tank. It's gonna go in like that. Okay, so I did put strips of foam where the gas tank touches the boat. So I didn't realize they made bulkhead fittings specifically for bulkheads like that, and these are very cheap. So I'm gonna add, I need to add one for the water out, water in, and also I need to add one for the bilge pump. Dang, I should have ordered more of these. Next up is gonna be the battery box, and then finish the steering, and that's all the welding to do on this boat. I hope you guys aren't tired of seeing all the welding. I'm definitely tired of welding. I'm honestly really surprised that I could do bends like this now with that Swag Off-Road tubing roller, but unfortunately this isn't gonna work because it covers up the bolt heads, and it's gonna make it really hard to service the pump. So I'm gonna have to think of another way to do it. Alright, so one last thing before I finish the engine is I'm installing these Boysen reeds, carbon fiber dual stage. The old reeds were pretty crusty. Alright, so I installed these Boysen dual stage reeds. This was holding up this engine for the longest. Hopefully it improves throttle response. Okay, so I just wanted to bench test this engine, see if we have spark. Right here I got everything plugged up. Here are the coils, and then this is the CDI. This is the starter solenoid. And we got the battery. I mean, it looks like I hooked everything up properly. I got the good ground here. And then this right here is some kind of electrical box, so I got it hooked up. I don't know why this electrical system is so complicated. And then I got the starter here, but it doesn't want to go. There's something is wrong with the electrical system. And just so you know, the lanyard is in, right? Yeah guys, so... And yeah, I read some of the stuff on the forums. I've been troubleshooting it for a couple hours now. No spark. Now, I don't have the dash display, so I don't know if it needs that to complete the circuit. You know, it's kind of unfortunate. I was really thinking I could just plop this thing in and have it start. But nope. I did read that the CDI has to match the stator, and this is a Chinese stator. But like, as you can see, there's no burnt up wires in here. There's no corrosion. Same thing here. There's no burnt up wires or corrosion anywhere. I don't know. This is a really overcomplicated, over-engineered electrical system. My past 5-6 years of doing this stuff, how many issues and headaches I've had with electrical stuff, mechanical stuff, impossible stuff, and yet here I am, and